Hi, welcome back to Career Goals. Today I have Aaron Patrick with me, who is the host of the podcast Ask the Accountant, founder of Boffix, QuickBooks trainer and Kaplan alumni. So how are you today, Aaron?
I am very well, thank you so much for having me. This place is so cool. I love what you've done with the set. It looks really good. I'm really excited for this.
I'm going to just jump straight in and play a game of Never Have I Ever.
Perfect.
Have you ever played that before?
I have, I'm looking forward to it.
So what I'm going to do is I'll read out a statement. It's pretty straightforward. If you have, green. If you haven't, you haven't. And then hopefully it'll reveal some truths.
Okay.
So are you ready?
Go for it.
Perfect. So never have I ever messed up a live recording.
Oh.
You have.
Many a time. Yeah.
A lot of times.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say a lot of times. I think one of the things we've always tried to do with our podcast is make it live so that we have the opportunity to have people to come along, ask questions during the time and everything else. So we have the opportunity to mess things up from time to time. And what we try and do is we try and get our community to tell us if there's been a problem or if they think there's something, and we try and get them to catch it live. So we could accidentally say that some software has just been acquired by XYZ when they've been acquired by so-and-so. So there's been occasions where the next episode we've had to go along and we've had to actually do an apology at the beginning. Yeah.
But then at least I'd say like it looks more authentic, at least it's
Exactly.
not too polished.
Yeah, we're all human, right? We all make mistakes here and there. So yeah, my pro tip for that though is practice the actual apology, because once I went into an apology, messed that up and then it was even worse down the line. So yeah, please, you know, if you do make a mistake, practice that apology beforehand.
Oh, perfect. So next one is, never have I ever dreamt about a career totally different to my own.
Ooh. I guess I'm really happy. I think the difference is when I was growing up, I really wanted to be a teacher. That was like my goal, to be a teacher. I think I was just like seeing all these amazing teachers around me and going, you know what, I want to be that like that. Yeah. But actually, in my career, I've been really lucky. So I am a QuickBooks trainer, so I go around training for QuickBooks. I'm teaching every single day to either clients or to my staff or to, you know, anyone that I come in contact with. So I kind of get to itch that itch and I get to kind of relive that dream anyway. And I get to do cool things like this as well. So I kind of win-win really.
Yeah, because to be fair, if you was originally planning to be a teacher, you've pretty much, it's just not the stereotypical teacher that you'd expect, but it's still the same, you're still teaching.
Yeah, I just don't get the 6 weeks off.
yeah, a few cons. But when you were studying at Kaplan, was you expecting to kind of go down this route of, because obviously you've got the podcast as well, was you expecting that?
Honestly, at that time, I think I'll always remember when I was studying at Kaplan, my boss at the time was talking to me and saying that, you know, you need to listen to what I'm saying here and listen to what I'm saying there, because when you run a practice, it's going to be really useful to you. And I remember saying to him, I'm never going to run a practice. I'm happy where I am. And then we moved on. And I think like being at Kaplan and kind of seeing all your other peers there, because that's one of the best things about it, is the fact that you're in a room with loads of other accountants and loads of other people going through the same thing as you. And it's that opportunity to go, so what do you do? Oh, you do this? Oh, wow, I didn't know you could even do that. Like, you have that opportunity to really feel and have a feel for what other accountants can do. And I think I spent my time in Kaplan kind of going, I really want to do what that person's doing, but there's no way I'm going to do what that person's doing. Like, that sounds terrible, you know, but that's just me, right? But then there'll be other people in the room saying, that is exactly what I want to do. So I think you have that opportunity to really gauge what your career is going to be and what it was. And at the time I was like, you know what, I want to have this opportunity to talk on stage and teach and all that lot, because that's what I was seeing my tutors were doing, that's what I was seeing fellow people were wanting to do, and it kind of all went from there. So I forgot to do this bit now.
Amazing. So with people, like you're seeing people all the time at Kaplan, is there anyone that you've stayed in touch with that's doing, like you notice that they might be doing something completely different to what you're doing? Or is there anyone you stayed in touch with in general? Yeah,
100%. The people we've met at Kaplan are friends for life. As soon as we finished our studies, we went straight off for a trip. There was a group of 8 of us and went straight to Amsterdam, and we did a little trip around there. And then from there on in, we've just, you know, stayed in touch, and they've all gone completely different ways. You know, there is not one typical accountant role they've done, some of them have gone into industry, some of them have stayed at where they are and gone all the way up to almost partner level, some of them have gone and started their own practices like myself. And it's been really, really good. In fact, I actually met my future wife at Kaplan, so, you know, for me it's like, you could pretty much find everything there. It's been, yeah, we've really got the opportunity. And what I've also been able to do from that is be able to find people that have come to work at my practice as well. So it's like, I knew that they were bright sparks, I knew that they were really good at what they were doing. They were at a bit of a lull in their career, and it's like, well, why don't you come over and work for Boffix? So yeah, it's worked really well.
Oh, so is your wife still in accounting and finance?
Yeah, so completely different to me. She stayed in the kind of the corporate world, and she's in top 4 now, so she's going through senior manager position there. So we're both accountants, but we couldn't be any different to one another. Like, she's completely niched down, and like I said, in top 4, where I own my own practice and spend most of the time on the road really at the time. So yeah, it's amazing how we both studied the same and we both were at the same college at the same time, yet we couldn't be any different apart in terms of careers at the moment.
God, that's amazing. What a success story of Kaplan. Like,
yeah, you can find your future wife if you're lucky. That's how it works.
Yeah, like a study at Kaplan, it'll completely change your life. Never have I ever broken a bone.
Ooh.
You haven't?
No, never, not a bone. Been very close. In fact, last time I went to a gig in Barcelona, we were walking down, it was at the top of a hill, we were walking down a hill, and I swear my wife at the time was like, I want to get hit down here sooner, so I swear she pushed me, because all I remember is just falling down this hill, thought I'd broken my ankle and thought that was, you know, it was all over in the middle of Spain. Had to get an ambulance from there to there, but thankfully it was just a sprain. But yeah, I've been close enough, but never have I actually broken one.
We're going to move on now to industry myth. So with industry myths, what I'll do is I'll read out a statement and just let me know what you think. So you need a uni degree to be an accountant?
Absolutely not. I mean, in our household we've got 2 people, never been to university yet. We'd probably say we're both getting to the top of our individual career goals. And yeah, having a university degree can help in some aspects of accountancy. There is some bits where it can be useful, but pretty much the whole of the accountancy career is accessible just through hard work and graft. And that's kind of where we've seen it. It was that opportunity through Kaplan, you know, to be able to work at what we're doing. And the best thing about working what you're doing is that you can actually understand what parts of accounting you like and don't like, so that helps really. And then through Kaplan, you have the opportunity to continue career goals. And most of the time, especially in accountancy, the university degree will only just help you get into a professional qualification anyway. So you're going to have to do that professional qualification. So, you know, it's definitely not needed to have a university degree at all.
Yeah, no, I agree. So what made you go into like study at Kaplan instead of going down the uni route?
So for me, it was more of the case that I went on a work experience position at the time when I was at school, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Again, I thought I wanted to be a teacher, so it was like, well, I'll just go into accountancy, and I literally fell into it. And I got offered a job there and then, and they said that I could go and study, you know, doing AAT at the time, and then moving on to ICAW. I was like, you know what, that sounds like a good idea, and I kind of went from there. So yeah, university, there was an option for me to go, but I felt like earning some money at the same time, being able to get myself my first house and apartment, all that sort of stuff, just felt like the right thing to do, and it felt like I was progressing quicker through my career, and I was able to understand it more. And it was more for me was that, is accountancy right for me? Is this the right one? And if I'd have done X amount of years in uni and then found out it wasn't, I wouldn't be in a great position. Whereas this time round, I was kind of doing the right thing in terms of trying it out and figuring it out if it was. So for me, if anyone's kind of a little bit unsure about any career goal, then doing that apprenticeship first is a really safe way of trying it out. You're not wasting your time, but at the same time, you're not putting all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, no, I agree. I speak to a lot of people that have done like apprenticeships and stuff, and they say how valuable it is to learn on the job. Even if you decide that you don't want to go down the industry, you still get them transferable skills. So completely agree.
And accountancy is one of the most important transferable skills, because most people are entrepreneurial. If they're going down the apprenticeship route, they want to think about what they want to do long term, and having an accountancy is great for any kind of career progression going forward. So.
Amazing. Just for those at home, can you explain what you studied? Because you've just said AAT and you moved on to ICAEW. Is that how it was? Did you go straight from, was it the final level of AAT straight onto?
AAT is the qualification that I first started. So the idea there is it's more of an entry-level accountancy profession. But the beauty of it is AAT also has the ability to have routes into ICAEW where you actually get to skip a few exams or you get to actually go through and actually just do top-up exams as well. So it becomes a really natural progression. So you'll study your AAT. For me, it took 3 years to do because I was doing apprenticeship route, so it was kind of year after year. And then once I completed that 3 years, I went straight into ICAEW. And that was kind of, again, because I was given those entry into it through AAT, it just made sense. It was the right thing to do. And my employer was really passionate about me going through that way because it's good for them as well, because then they get more qualified accountants going through. So yeah, it becomes a really nice progression because it's all, when I first got my position as an apprentice at the very beginning, it was almost mapped out for me. It was like, well, if you really stick at this and you get your head down and you work with it, then within this amount of time frame, you're going to be a qualified accountant. So it was all set out for me. I had that confidence. I had Kaplan telling me that if I get this bit done here and that bit done there, and I can go through there. So I had the support network. So it just made sense to kind of go down that route. And it's completely changed my life. So I'd never do it another way.
Oh, that's amazing. So the next one is people working in accounting and finance can't be creative.
Oh, that's definitely not true. Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that we need to change that perception of is what accountants are. I think a lot of people think it's just people who sit behind a desk and they're just number crunching and that's all they do. And to some extent, you're going to have to learn those core skills, and there will be a part of your career where that is what you're doing and that is your learning. It's like you've got to build a house, you've got to figure out that foundation, right? And you've got to build it from the ground up. So you've got to learn those core skills. There are going to be times where you're going to be sat there number crunching. But most of the time now, we've got great technology behind us, got great software, we've got AI coming into play. So what we're doing as employers is trying to encourage our younger staff to have an opportunity to be more outgoing, to have an opportunity to talk to more clients and enjoy their actual job. It's definitely a myth to say that us as accountants, we love filing VAT returns, we love filing tax returns. That's not what we love to do. We have to do, that's part of the profession. But actually what we love to do is talk to clients, and we love to help clients, and we love to give opportunities to make sure that we can help small businesses grow or whatever profession you're in. So for me, that's a creative side from day one that every accountant gets. They get that opportunity to help small businesses, help their clients, problem solve, given the opportunity to actually go in and actually make a difference to a client. And then for me personally, I also went down the podcasting route and I went down YouTube as well. So I've got a channel on YouTube that's done wonders for our practice because it brings people in and everything else. But also becomes a springboard for me then going to go and talk on stage and have an opportunity to come to places like this, and then your creativity just really gets to go to places because you then start looking at how you need to use social media to be able to gain traction, to be able to bring opportunities. So, we'll go to events and we'll try and do something a little bit different so that we stand out, and we'll have opportunities to go and do social media campaigns where we can, again, be a little bit different. And what that just means is then you become better at talking to your clients about this sort of thing, because then the more you learn about your own progression and your own social media adventures and everything else means that then you can pass that on to your clients as well and give them an opportunity. So that creative juice needs to be turned on. You need to be continually and constantly using it. So yeah, 100%, there's so much creativity in accounting. And I think a lot of it is because we're getting better technology to help us be more creative. So we're not just sitting there putting numbers in and putting receipts into a computer. We are now having the opportunity to show the breadth of our skills and what we enjoy doing, and I think that's really good for the industry.
And would you say, because obviously you speak to, obviously you're creative, and you've just explained, as a whole, it's not that stereotype that people think. but obviously you work with them, accountants, on a day-to-day basis, and you interview them on your podcast. Would you say that more people have been creative than are not?
We're in a bit of an issue here where we're not attracting enough people to the industry. So the more we can talk to other accountants, the more we can try and help put down those barriers like we're doing today, like trying to make sure that we're showing that accountancy is a fun profession to have. And I think the more people we talk to on the podcast, the more opportunities we have to do things like this, the more opportunities that we do on social media, the more that we get to see those really creative elements to it. And it's amazing what people are doing out there. We've got people doing live streams, we've got people doing creating what we've created, a top trumps game based on all of the people we've interviewed. We're doing that little bit of creative thing step by step, just so we can show that there's really is a fun career to be having in accountancy. And the more people we talk to and the more opportunities we have to see them, the more we're saying, you know what, we're not just saying that, we can prove it now. We've got all these podcasts, all these amazing people that's in the industry, and it's like, well, that's proof that there are some really, really talented people and creative people that we can look up to.
Oh, I completely agree. Next on, QuickBooks is only for small businesses.
I mean, I am the QuickBooks Chap, so hopefully best qualified person to say that. And I do a lot of trading. So one of my hats that I wear, one of the roles that I do is I go around to other accounting firms and I train them with QuickBooks via QuickBooks themselves. What I love about QuickBooks is the fact that it is that piece of software that can be used pretty much in every single situation. We don't have to compromise. There's certain softwares that are really good at certain niches. There's certain softwares that you would recommend to this type of client and everything else. With QuickBooks, pretty much every type of client, so big, small, niche, not niche, you'll have that opportunity to be able to use QuickBooks and mould it for what it is. So yeah, 100% QuickBooks can be used in pretty much every type of client.
So with you saying that you're the QuickBooks Chap, what does that mean?
Yeah, I think it's one of my success stories in terms of getting my name out there, and the reason that I've been able to go on stage and go on tour at the moment with QuickBooks. Basically what happened during lockdown was that we were finding it really difficult to get messages out to our clients on a consistent basis quickly. We were trying newsletters, we were trying all sorts of opportunities, but what we found was that actually filming a video and getting a video out there was so much more impactful. So we started a YouTube channel based around just getting news out to clients to begin with. And then what we did was we kind of evolved that and saw the traction from there. And that's where the brand, the QuickBooks Chap, came from. So it's my YouTube channel, it's been basically our best way of being able to get news out to our clients, get tips and tricks out to clients. It makes, gives me that credibility of being an expert with QuickBooks. And what we were able to do was just use that brand, that QuickBooks Chap brand, to then go to other social media platforms and to push our opportunities there. So, it gives us that chance to have a conversation, a chance to be at a table when there's any major events on, for example. We get invited because, well, what's QuickBooks doing at the moment? How are they going to bring it in? And it just gives me that personal brand that's been so powerful. And at the moment now, 80% of our referrals for new clients in Boffix is all based on the traction that the QuickBooks Chap channel is doing. And
oh, that's amazing. So with this, was you working at or for QuickBooks before making this decision to go onto YouTube and stuff? Can you just map out your kind of career journey?
Yeah, so I first started out as an apprentice for a smaller firm, and then when I went from that apprentice, I went to a top 50 firm. And when I was in a top 50 firm, I was really niching down into medical at that point. So I was a medical accountant, as well as known as. And during that time, I felt that I was kind of losing my core skills a little bit. So I went to HR, asked if I could start my own practice. They said yes, thankfully. And I started a little side hustle practice on the side of it. Then I got that introduction to QuickBooks through when I was then explaining to this top 50 firm that we should be using QuickBooks. QuickBooks is a good brand. And then it kind of, from there, I was given the opportunity to become a QuickBooks trainer. And then I started my own firm properly, and I walked away from the corporate job. And basically, once I started that new firm, Boffix, and had that QuickBooks training, I was always involved in QuickBooks and always had that opportunity. And again, when lockdown came along, they were looking to front a brand new show that they wanted to do called Ask the Expert. And the whole idea of Ask the Expert was to go live each and every morning and basically talk to the nation about all these new things. And that kind of gave me that confidence when I was doing that live show to go, you know what, that's where I can make the most impact, that's where we can get that most amount of information out there to people, and that's where the QuickBooks Chap kind of was born. If you think back to a traditional accounting firm, it's very much a case of we feel like we're just there for compliance sake, we're there to file tax returns, we're there to file VAT returns, and we're basically just making sure we're ticking boxes as we go along, which is fine, and for some clients that's all they'll ever need. But I feel like a lot of clients now need a lot more support, they need a lot more help, they need a lot more business advisory, they need a lot more asking questions and finding out how their business is doing, and not just 18 months down the line when you're doing a set of accounts, but actually what's going on with their business now, like what's going on. And for me, a modern accounting firm is by making sure that small businesses or any type of business out there can have access to that data in real time. So we use great software like QuickBooks and items like that to make sure that we're processing that data in real time, so that clients can get a phone out of their pocket and they can see their cash flow forecast and they can see how their business is doing. So if they've got to make a crucial decision, they could contact us, or they could just look at their data and make that decision there and then. And I feel like it's really important that we drop down those barriers to make it so that's accessible to all small businesses out there, because the more support they can get, the faster they grow, the better chance they are to survive. I mean, our whole ethos at Boffix is that we want small businesses not just survive but thrive, and the only way we can really do that is by giving them the data they need and giving them the support they need, so that if and when they need a business advisory or they need an accountant, they've got access to it.
So how's your time been today? Have you enjoyed the show?
Absolutely loved it. I really love what this whole idea is doing, you know, trying to take down those walls, those barriers, and trying to show what is accountancy like and what it is. I personally love Kaplan because that's how I've got to where I am in my career, and also I send every one of my employees that we have through to Kaplan as well, because I can trust them, and I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt, so yeah. Sending the employees over there means that I know what they're going to expect and how they're going to be treated and everything else, and yeah, no, love what you guys are doing here, and yeah, absolutely enjoyed the show.
So before we let our guests go, we ask one last question, and that is, what does career goals mean to you?
Oh, it's an open-ended question, isn't it? Like, when I first started my career goal was just to progress through a corporate world and get to the top. And then it's progressed to owning my own accounting firm, and now it's having a podcast every morning, you know. Career goals for me is something that's always evolving. You've got to find what you really enjoy doing, you've got to find what you're passionate about, and you've got to figure out what it is that is, you know, going to get you to wake up in the morning and be really excited. And for me, that's where something like Kaplan can hone those for you and figure out what that's going to be. You kind of go in like this raw little kid going in and like, oh, what's going on? And then you kind of come out with this purpose, and you have this opportunity to figure out what it is you want. And I think that's important. So for me, career goals is all about evolution. It's all about have a set mind, figure out what you want, but be prepared to evolve that, be prepared to pivot, be prepared to find some new piece of technology that's going to take you in a whole different direction. For me, if I hadn't found QuickBooks, I wouldn't be where I am today. And it was the fact I was able to pivot with that technology, pivot with that software, and the career goals then just completely opened up from there.
Yeah, I completely agree. That's a really good answer. I think having an open mind is definitely important, because if you have one goal and then you might work to that and then reach it, and then you're a bit like, that's...
Exactly. But if you can keep evolving and keep having opportunities to go with it, then it'll just grow with it.
Amazing. So thanks so much for watching. Remember to like, comment and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you're feeling inspired by Aaron's story and would like to study towards your career goals, head over to kaplan.co.uk. Thank you and goodbye.